I've been trying to think about how to begin this episode, which is a very, very tricky one. And I found
Not for a guy like me.
myself thinking about a debate I heard a lot in 2023 and 2024.
Free Palestine!
You would hear these chants and see these signs.
We're getting now like the short-term version of the one day everyone will have always been against this from Ezra Klein. Like Ezra Klein has been a cheerleader and champion of genocide for years, just in a moderate, chin stroking kind of way. But now, like, the needle's moved too far, so he has to pretend that some new revelation has come about that has changed his position, rather than it just being impossible to continue to hold this position in the face of public opinion turning. So now it's like, oh well, at the time I felt this, but then after Israel did the same thing 500,000 times in a row, that's what changed my mind.
From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. And it flared into this huge controversy.
Free Palestine from the river to the sea means get rid of all the Jews.
No, from the river to the sea means the land in between is free. Everyone in between is free.
No, this is a genocidal chant.
What was always so strange to me, so backwards about this focus on college campus protesters, was that there was this reality people weren't really admitting, that there is one power from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. That power, that sovereign, which if you travel in that area, and I have, is just visually undeniable.
It takes so long to say everything. Have you considered the regional power in Israel as Israel? Holy shit, really?
Is Israel. American politics is
The
not
fucking enormously powerful militarized ethno-state given money and weapons by the United States that also has illegal nuclear weapons that it hasn't registered and refuses to acknowledge the existence of, and that drafts like everyone of a certain that country, they have sole control over the region that they have control over.
grappled really at all.
I'm sorry, I hate Ezra Klein. I just hate this like New York Times editorial columnist, chin-stroking Substack motherfucker type who's like arriving at basic, obvious conclusions everyone left of center arrived at ages ago, but they take forever to get there because they were like completely beholden to consultancy beforehand. So now they have to contrive some like intellectual justification for their pulling over like after the average Democratic voter already has, you know?
With a level of day-to-day domination that Israel exerts over Palestinian lives, and the complete absence of any horizon at all.
Yeah, been like that since the Nakba. Like it's been like that unrelentingly for 80 years with no change in the conditions. They have continued to have unrelenting, overwhelming control over Palestinian lives for longer than you and I have been alive. Nothing new has happened. Nothing's changed.
For that to end. And this was true before October 7th.
Whoa!
In early 2023, the political scientists Michael Barnett, Nathan Brown, Mark Lynch, and Shibli Talhami published an edited volume called The One State Reality. Their argument, which they also made in a very controversial foreign affairs piece, was that, quote, Palestine is not a state in waiting, and Israel is not a democratic state incidentally occupying Palestinian territory. All the territory west of the Jordan River has long constituted a single state under Israeli rule, where the land and the people are subject to radically different legal regimes.
That's such a crazy and controversial argument. That's fucking why they really said that thing that's been true for 80 years that everyone everywhere knows. That's crazy.
And Palestinians are permanently treated.
I guess if you mostly got your news from the New York Times, from Ezra Klein, this might actually be really novel to you. You're like, well, I'll be. It's like some kind of apartheid state over there. You're telling me that Palestinians and Israelis have two different sets of laws to follow? Why isn't anyone talking about this?
As a lower caste.
Oh!
What they were saying then is that the hope of a two-state solution in the future had become a way many in America particularly avoided reckoning with the one-state reality of the present. That reality was not accidental. It is not intended to be transient. It was being etched into the land in stone and cement, in settlements and checkpoints, in the construction of walls and the demolition of homes. That might have been a controversial claim when they made it.
In 2023. I'm like, I can't believe. I got an email recently from someone who was like, do you think Ezra Klein's more reasonable than you think? Really? This guy? That might, now listen, viewer, that might sound crazy, all those things I just told you. What's with this affect he's pushing? To make 80 IQ people feel smart. It's basically like the liberal equivalent of neo-Nazi Twitter midwits who pretend that they've read like Evol or whatever, you know? They're the kind of person who talks about fascism not in a like oorah race war way, but more in a like, yes, it's true. Mankind has always been following the curvature of its evolutionary trajectory, and it seems our trajectories diverged sometime ago. And it's just like you like get to the root of what they're saying, and they're basically saying like black people scary, you know? But it's meant to make you feel smart. It's meant to make you feel smart. You're so smart.
What has happened since October 7th has made it an undeniable reality. Israel now occupies more than half of Gaza. The more than 2 million Gazans have been
Actually occupies all of Gaza, because occupation refers not only to the literal physical presence of soldiers, but also to political and military dominion, which they have complete and absolute power over.
herded into less than half of the land they formerly occupied. And Gaza, it should be said, was already one of the most overcrowded places on Earth.
Fascinating.
The conditions Gazans now live in...
I feel very on the money so far that this is a video justifying a change in perspective that he's had for the first time in a many decades long career. Not many, but like several decades long career. But so far, every piece of evidence he cited to justify his change in position is from 80 years ago.
And there is no near term, there's no imagined, there's no envisioned relief. This is and it remains collective punishment. Hamas, not the children of Gaza, attacked Israel on October 7th. The conditions the children of Gaza now live in are not, they're not more...
It's revolutionary stuff if you read the New York Times and you were under the impression that October 7th was when a, you know, fucking company of Palestinian children invaded Israel.
In the West Bank, Israel has choked off money to the Palestinian Authority. It has built settlements, chosen to build settlements, at a record pace. More...
They didn't just appear there on their own? Fucking $20,000 more to his Substack. They chose to build it? They didn't just spontaneously erupt like acne from the earth?
Settlements were approved in the last year alone than in the 2 decades before combined. Israel has protected a terrifying rise in settler violence and military violence.
I hadn't heard about
towards
this
the
Palestinians.
Right now. There is no doubt, if you go there, who rules the West Bank, and it is not the PA. When Netanyahu signed a recent settlement project, a project the United States had opposed for a long time because it would effectively bisect the West Bank, making a Palestinian state physically unimaginable. Netanyahu made clear that that was exactly why he was signing it.
It's sanitizing the liberal Zionist perspective. I personally just think it's important to remember that none of these people believe in fucking anything. That authentic, sincere belief has been scoured from the surface of the American political and consultancy classes as effectively as I don't know, as a solar flare would scour the magnetosphere of the Earth. It's all gone. It literally doesn't exist. It might have some time ago. 100 years ago, things might have been different, but not now. I don't think it would actually scour the magnetosphere. It'd scour the ozone, right? I don't know. I don't really know how the sun works. It's like a god, right? The sun's a god, and there's a solar flare when he's mad at you. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Yes? Okay, gotcha.
He said, "We are going to fulfill our promise. There will be no Palestinian state. This place belongs to us." In the north, Israel has used war in Iran as cover to invade Lebanon, displacing more than 1 million people. a million and suggest
he's saying like a million, like it's shocking and not just like a number you could. I hate inauthenticity. I really do. I understand that to an extent, if you work in politics, a degree of inauthenticity is necessary, if for no other reason than because the average voter has the, I don't know, mental faculties of a cow. So sometimes you kind of have to like soft pitch them ideas because they genuinely wouldn't understand the actual plan. I understand. I get that. Okay. But this degree of inauthenticity genuinely sickens me. You can be like you can engage in every bad faith defense of Israel, every time-wasting, pearl-clutching, hand-waving defense, we need to move past this conversation, pretending it doesn't matter, pretending that if it does matter, we're doing all we can, over and over and over and over and over again. And then finally you change your mind, and your justification for doing so is this poorly thought out. Not even any like real reckoning with your conscience. He's not even like, after believing these things for so long, like, is he suggesting that he didn't know all this? Like, none of this information was available to him, Ezra Klein, this whole time? Why is he telling us this? You're the one who changed your mind. I haven't changed my mind. I've been morally consistent since day one. I've always believed this. So you're the one who changed your mind. You tell me, why did you change your mind? You're just telling me why I should agree with you now. I already knew why. I can't, it's infuriating to me. It's so fucking infuriating to me. It's so angering that like you can just, I don't even care that he makes money from it or that he's powerful or whatever, because he does and he is. You know, what I care about, I guess, is the idea that like this is the only way you can do things now, you know? Like it's in the environment that has been created, there's not only room for this to flourish, but like it's the only thing that can.
Suggesting that up to 600,000 will not be allowed to return to their homes until Israel has established its security zone, whatever that proves to be, and that it is decided that Israelis in the north are safe. To put it bluntly, it is an open question whether any of those 600,000 Lebanese will ever be able to return to their homes, or if they will even have homes.
I know, because I read news sources that aren't the New York Times. What's your point?
To return to. I do not want to underplay what Israel is actually dealing with here. I have immense sympathy for Israel's war against Hezbollah. They are defending themselves in a way any state would.
By invading the state, occupying it, demolishing all of the residences, displacing over 1 million people, and then creating settlements illegally to establish a buffer zone so you can continue, just like any state would, really.
But this, again, is collective punishment. Those million Lebanese, they are not all Hezbollah. Israel's security challenges are very real. Its horror, its fear, its trauma after October 7th was very real. Its
I haven't heard about it.
determination to make sure that never happened again is what any state and any people would do. Its right to reprisal against Hamas and Hezbollah were undeniable. I am not someone who wants to see the state of Israel cease to exist, but what Israel is choosing here.
Ezra Klein speaking directly to his AIPAC handlers, you know, please listen, I'm still on your side. I'm still laundering Israeli propaganda, but the shift in democratic public opinion is forcing me to take a slightly different stance on this.
A one-state reality that already is and will continue to be understood the world over as apartheid. It endangers that state too. The cost of Israel cannot morally be the permanent subjugation of millions of Palestinians. In February, Gallup found for the first time more Americans sympathize with the Palestinians than the Israelis.
So he hasn't actually changed his mind? Nope. Hence the position, one day everyone will have always been against this. He's this inauthentic piece of shit isn't even explaining how he changed his mind, even though that is what he's saying he's doing. He's pretending that he's always had this position. He's just catching you up on what he believes, on what he's always believed.
Among Democrats, among young Americans, it is not even close.
And here's why.
Israel maintains support among older Americans, and it has benefited from the advanced age of the last two presidents. Their views of Israel were forged in another time, around another Israel.
It was the same Israel.
American politics has not yet fully grappled with what Israel has chosen to become.
It always was this.
For decades, for my entire...
As infuriating as it is, it's still a good sign people like him are turning, but he's not turning. He still believes what he believes, and he's actively lying to you because he's trying to remain relevant. Why would he want to remain relevant without actually shifting his opinion? Because he remains their agent, an agent of Israel, an agent of the deep state. Why else would he, or let me put it another way, why an inauthentic turn if he actually was changing his mind, because this is absolutely inauthentic. Why not an authentic turn? If he was only trying to remain popular, then he would be anti-Israel. Why stay pro-Israel, and why frame it in such a disingenuous way? Because his perspective is unchanged. He is still an ally to the project of genocide. He now, rather than directly opposing it or pretending that it's, you know, not happening at all, now he will do what every liberal fucking shitlib pundit will do, which is waste time by, you know, half-assing solutions or acting as though the left is poisoning the well by being anti-Semitic, even though the left was right in everything they said, and he's now moving to that position, even as he pretends that he's not. Seems authentic to me. I don't know. Thanks, guy who only reads NYT. Phenomenal. The music really does it, I guess. The fake, like,
Our life. Discourse in America around Israel has always been couched in the future tense. It has always sat in the language of solutions. Do you support a two-state solution? Do you support a one-state solution? I don't think this is a time to talk about solutions. I think that is a way of sheltering ourselves.
The reason he doesn't want to talk about it is because it's become increasingly obvious that no version of that problem can be solved while Israel exists in the form that it does. Like, you want a one-state solution? You can't, because Israelis are evil. You want a two-state solution? You can't, because Israelis are evil. If you talk about solutions, you have to talk about the obstacle to implementing them, and the obstacle in both cases is that Israel is evil, so he can't talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about anything that would betray just how bad the problem is.
What is actually happening? I think what is needed now is simply a confrontation with realities.
Phenomenal. Didn't even acknowledge. Oh, just we need to engage with reality. After 3 years of this, man, 3 fucking years of this. God, I hate him. I hate him so much. In a way, it's kind of like the pundit version of the revolving door villain theory, no? Left it at that, yeah. No apologies to all the people that he's smeared or all the bad faith. And just go look at everything that he's contributed to the New York Times, everything he said about Israel, and boy, does he write a lot. Man, he writes a lot. Deep State loves him. Remember his Ta-Nehisi Coates debate? Yeah. Don't forget the monstrous people he's platformed. I won't. His call to action was what exactly? He was just informing his Zionist handlers that he's going to be shifting his rhetoric slightly, and he's trying to appease the leftward shifting Democratic base on this issue. Somebody smells midterm change approaching. As this becomes more of a 90-10 issue among Democrats, the Zionists are going to have to find ways to cloak themselves amidst you. They're going to have to find ways to make their poison more palatable when, like, basically every single Democrat in America is uniformly anti-Israel. They'll always have Fetterman? Well, no, Fetterman will be out soon. The Dems are going to force out the non-pro-Israel candidate in 2028, aren't they? I mean, the 3 people most likely to run that we know of right now are Slotkin, Gavin Newsom, and Kamala Harris, and all 3 of them are slaves to Israel. So you take your pick.